Hello everyone, welcome to FoundersGyaan, where we do Founders Ka Gaan with a Tadka of Gyaan. Today we are in eighth episode and we are joined by Mr. Priyesh. Hi Priyesh, how are you?
Hi Mansi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good too. Thanks for asking.
Yeah,
So give a very brief introduction about you. So Priyesh is the founder and CEO of Roboman, a UK-based AI enterprise building automation-first platforms across sales, procurement, and financial services. With a very strong foundation in data science and business analytics from institutions like IIM Lucknow and global exposures across the UK, Europe, and North America, Priyesh is focused on scaling AI driven solutions that simplify complex workflows. So, Priyesh, I've given a very brief introduction about you, but would you like to tell the audience more about yourself?
well, I think you have actually covered a lot that I can say about myself. But I would say that when we go through the podcast and you ask me questions, I think then I'll be able to explain myself better as in who
Okay.
I am because I generally don't believe in self praise. So I would like to explain myself through your questions. I think that would be more comfortable for me.
Great, great. Okay. All right. I think to start with, before moving ahead, we would first want to know what Roboman is. Can you give a very, can you tell more about what Roboman is?
Absolutely. So basically, we are an AI diversified enterprise. Okay.
Okay.
We are a AI based company for sure. We develop SaaS solutions mostly for B2B. But the thing is that it's diversified across different verticals. So let's say it's not concentrated in one vertical. It's not concentrated in like one particular field, but we diversified it across several fields. And the reason for it is that the diversification is the essential key for survival in the AI growth era.
Right.
So that is why we have been developing automation solutions that tackle hardcore problems across these different fields, and that is how we are the concept of our company. So we haven't restricted ourselves onto one niche, but we have multiplied ourselves in the different niches. So that is what plan is in a nutshell for you.
Great, great. So the term Roboman, right? So is
Yeah.
it related? Because if I'll listen to it the first time, I'll think it's related to robots. Is it
Yeah.
something like that?
You can say so. Well, it's kind of like an oxymoron. So robo and man together. So it's a robot and man, and that explains a lot about the artificial intelligence aspect that we cover. So artificial intelligence is, of course, derived from the human intelligence. So combining it with robots and a man, we try to convey that we are an artificial intelligence company in the most nutshell way possible, in the most clearest way possible. And of course, it's a name that people remember very easily. So that is why. And this I came up with this name around in 2022. Like just on a random day. With this name. So yeah, this is pretty much the idea behind Roboman, keeping Roboman as a company's name.
Okay. All right. And when did you start Roboman?
I would say that there have been two phases of starting Roboman. So in 2023, I also did start my journey as an entrepreneur or as someone with an independent company. But we I was more into the consulting and the more into the you can say um how do we call it? Like it wasn't a product based company at that time. So mostly contracting, providing services. That was the essential thing of Roban because I was new to this country where I'm sitting right now. So I needed to understand the market a bit more, as in where the pain points are, what is something that what we can do with
Yep.
it. So that is why we started off with as consulting. But around in 2024, we transformed into a product based company. So I would say total in 3 years, but as a product based, we have been here for 2 years now.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great. So again, as you said, there were two phases. So for sure, it wasn't like one day it came to your mind that you want to start Roboman and you did. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of planning phase, a lot of thoughts would have come to your mind that should I start, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah. I mean, although there was something that I wanted to do something of my own. I mean, my last job proved the point that I always have this tendency to go extra mile in every work that I do.
Okay.
So that is why I thought that this is something that is uh, not meant for me. I mean, I don't know how should I say this, but I can't just, be restricted to what I can do. I want to go always go extra mile. And in my last job, it always used to get me into troubles. That because I was working as a data scientist in this pharmaceutical company,
Oh,
and the problem was that everything was very corporate, very structured. Like, 8 hours means 8 hours. Now,
okay.
me as a data scientist always was like, always was very excited about introducing automation and all. And that automated a lot of tasks in the company. And when it did that, there was always a conflict with the management that why are you automating tasks so quickly? You're supposed to be there for 8 hours. We are supposed to not change the way the companies are traditionally working. And there was this lot of rift with the company. So I decided that I think it's better to apply my skills to places where I would be rewarded for it rather than, just having to suppress my skills to just to stay in the system. So that
Yeah.
is why I resigned and started this company some 3 years ago.
Okay, great. So I think we now know that what is Roboman and how did you like what led you to start Roboman, right? So also, what was the exact moment in your career where you realized that being a traditional employee was no longer enough and you had to build Roboman? So although one was that you were doing automation so quickly and
Yes.
the company you were working for obviously didn't want that. They wanted you to do it at your own pace.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
but was there anything else also which motivated you to do that?
I think I would say this is just one part, but it was compounded over time. It wasn't like I had this experience in my last job, so I thought of starting Roboman. But the glitch started really early. Like I was 21 when something that thing to do something unique started within me.
Hmm.
So when I was 21, I was working as an intern at UNICEF.
Mm-hmm.
By the way,
Acha.
although I'm running an AI company, but I'm not an engineer, so I don't have a technical background.
Hmm.
And the thing was that when I was at UNICEF, so my job was as an intern was to you have these government magazines in India.
Hmm.
So I had to read those magazines and I had to put all the data into an Excel sheet. So you can say it was as much of a mundane and a donkey work as possible. And I was and I was doing it. I was like, this is my job. I want to
As
make
an
something.
intern, whatever you get, you like, yeah, that becomes your role and responsibility, and whatever you're being asked to do, I think you have to do that.
Exactly, exactly. And I was 21, you are newly motivated.
Yeah,
I'll do it. I'll do it regardless. So I was just, there was this really small office. You know how the government offices in India are.
yeah.
And, I think it was just like, half the size of normal Indian kitchens. And I was sitting there. I was just, just reading through the magazines, putting the data in. I was thinking I'm doing something really unique. Uh, but sooner or later, I realized that, this is something that isn't very cool, to be honest. Although it was UNICEF, so I was like, oh, UNICEF is such a big name.
Yeah, yeah.
But, but no, I mean, I realized after a month that this isn't right for me.
Okay.
And what happened was that I had a manager over me there who made me sit there and do all the mundane tasks.
Hmm.
I realized that since I have a little bit of free time, I can start studying something about this data. So I was just sitting with my Excel sheet and trying to analyze that, okay, what is this Excel sheet doing? Is there any pattern that I can observe or anything?
Hmm.
To understand the pattern, I thought that, okay, let's do one thing. Let's study some tools that helps you understand the patterns. And that is why I still remember I signed up for this. Do you know the programming language with R programming language
Hmm.
or Python? Do
Yeah.
you understand? So I signed up on Coursera for one of these courses.
Hmm.
And I found it quite interesting. I mean, I'm not from a coding background, so
Hmm.
I found it quite interesting. And I was like, okay, let's try this on the data that I've collected, on this heaps of data that I've studied and
Yeah.
I've put on the Excel sheet.
Hmm.
And I realized I could see some patterns. So that data was related to immunization. That data was related to immunization.
Hmm.
That why immunization rates are low in Uttar Pradesh, the
Hmm.
state where I'm from. I'm from Lucknow originally. And I could derive some really good findings out of it because I could relate that what drives immunization.
Mhm.
I could see very clear patterns from it, very, very clear patterns.
Mhm.
I showed that to my manager at that time, and he was very surprised that how did you even come up something like with this? I
Okay.
knew that this is something that, it's my hard work. So I decided to, put it at a place where it would be recognized better. So someone suggested me that I should, go to these international universities because they're very, very open to have some sort of these type of findings. And I sent this paper to University of Manchester in the United Kingdom.
Oh,
So all the way from scraping data on reading on Excels all the way to University of Manchester, I sent my findings there, and they accepted it. And they said that we would like to have you at the International Festival of Public Health, which was being hosted at that time. I was selected. I went there. I went there. It was a first abroad trip, and I actually won an award there. So at that time, so among all the PhD holders, I was 21 at that time, winning an award, international award, and that is where I would say it's that confidence came that I'm meant to do something that creates a large scale impact rather than a small scale impact for
ah,
someone.
right,
So
right.
that is how things started. And of course, things compounded over time. Um, so that's one way of saying that, yeah, it was not just one factor up till leading there, but it compounded over time again and again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that is such a great achievement at 21. It's really a dream for a lot of people, and you did achieve it. So,
Yeah,
congrats.
even I feel surprised at times that how did I do that at 21. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Once we
it
have
is.
passed an achievement, we do think, how did we achieve that? But yeah, it was your hard work and your curiosity for sure to
Yeah,
solve this. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. And also, like, you've named the company again. So, coming back to the same thing we've discussed, but
Hmm.
you've named the company Roboman, which is at intersection of, again, robots and
Yeah,
humans.
yeah,
So, this which is artificially human, right?
yeah,
So,
right.
is your goal to make robots more like us, or are you trying to fix the fact that modern humans have started acting like unthinking robots in their jobs? Because if you are aware of, like, you must be obviously like we have Claude, we have ChatGPT, we have Perplexity, we have Gemini, etc., etc. So
Hmm.
whenever we have some task, we just put it there. And that day I was also reading a meme that my mother is using ChatGPT to count the number of laddus I have in a box. So I think
Oh.
everybody has started. It has gone down to that level that everybody has started. So what do you think? Like, what is your goal when you are like building Roboman?
Well, actually, both, I would say. I would say actually both because, as you said, that are you trying to make robots more humans or are you trying to make vice versa? It's
Yeah.
actually both, you can say.
Okay.
I can explain you this with the type of products that we are creating in the company. We have this sales outreach platform, okay?
Okay.
And the thing is that this sales outreach platform, it reaches out to the prospects for sure, okay? But the thing is that it reaches out and it composes a message based on your particular personality.
Oh,
So like when you come across someone, you have this latent or intuitive idea of how should I interact with that person. Okay, let's say if there's someone very senior to you, you would interact accordingly. If there is someone junior to you, you would interact. Your tone of your communication changes always. You may or may not realize this,
right.
but somewhere or the other, subconsciously, your tone changes.
Hmm.
This particular platform, sales outreach, when it what these companies do, like most of the outreach companies, most of our competitors, they do something known as generic emailing. They send out same emails to multiple people. Okay, it's a gamble that they play with the sales. They wait for people to revert and do that. What we do is we try to make robots, here in this case, more humans. So we extract the disk and ocean analysis. We do the disk and ocean analysis. Disk is basically dominance, intuitive, acceptability, socialness, these type of factors. We try to understand the personality profile of that particular, you can say, the person, the prospect, and the platform. It composes the emails or the direct messages accordingly.
Oh.
So it's never like, I would say same thing to everyone. If I'm sending a product to you, I
Hmm.
would be interacting with you in a different way compared to someone very senior.
Oh.
And that is exactly what this sales outreach platform does, that it has been taught to capture the intuitive idea of, you can say, the prospect, the person that it is reaching out to.
Hmm.
So that is one case of robots being more human.
Okay.
Another thing is that how humans are being made more robots.
Huh.
Now, this one would be interesting. Okay. So, the thing is that we also have this procurement platform that we are using within the company. And because we are using this procurement platform, so this is basically automating all the procurement processes. Okay. It is basically, um, how should I explain you this? Okay. Let me think of an example. You understand procurement, right?
Yeah.
So, what do you know how lengthy the procurement process is?
It's quite lengthy, I think.
It is quite lengthy, yeah. Procurement is something that most of the companies in today's day and era they struggle. Okay, and because they are struggling with that, the thing is that humans, when they come to dealing with procurement, they are very messy with that. They are sending out the quotations to so many people. They are, taking the quotations and they are trying to get the approvals all within the company, with the management and all.
Hmm.
What we do is we this time in this for this particular platform, I'm saying,
Hmm.
we ask them to behave in a systematic way similar to robots. i'll
Okay.
I'll tell you how. We just ask them that you come on the platform, you just put in your the product that you're trying to procure,
Hmm.
and when platform is doing everything, just at the end of the process you have to just put your signatures in.
Okay.
So the thing is that humans, now this time we humans have to act according to a SaaS AI SaaS platform. This time humans don't have to think uh, in their way.
Like a
They just
human.
have to put about a product. The
Okay.
platform fetches the quotations from different vendors and the new vendors. It creates a cross comparison. It creates L1, L2s, and everything.
Mhm.
And it sort of creates that cross comparison, and it finally finds you the vendor which is willing to sell you the product at the lowest price and the best quality with the least freight charges and deliverability. The humans just have to put a signature in, and that's it.
Okay.
So the thing is that this time humans are being taught to behave in a streamlined way compared to like robots.
Huh.
So we don't ask them to interfere in the process, but we ask them to be a part of this robotic process where they just
Yeah,
have to put their signatures in, and that's it.
that's it.
So
Okay.
I would say that we have been doing somewhere both. We have been doing trying to make robots as humans, and trying to make humans behave in a streamlined way like robots.
Mhm.
So I would say both. But yeah, at the end of the day, as your question is, that it's something that is only gonna expand with time. Something There's a lot more exciting things coming up with time. We will have humanoids coming soon.
Yeah,
So definitely, this answer would be something very different 5 years later on. So
right.
yeah, that is something I could explain you from my side actually.
Yeah. So as of now, like bringing in the human intelligence, human quotient in the robots, and
Yeah,
bringing in that robot native mindset in the humans, because I
yeah,
think by habit we are fond of doing the manual work, as you were just telling me,
absolutely,
the job
absolutely,
of data filling. So because we
absolutely,
are fond of doing that, and also we've been wired, so now we are habitual of doing that. So we've
exactly. Yeah,
in that okay, this thing can be done automatically, and we have to bring in ourselves only in the loop where it's required.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, okay, right. That's understandable.
Mhm.
All right. So, moving on, I think like obviously you are there on LinkedIn. You must see that there are a lot of people who are always posting about their product launch or they are
Mhm.
posting about funding sometimes. Because being an
Yeah.
entrepreneur, starting having a startup, you have to post all this, because initially I think the journey is very tough. Although I've not been in that position, but I have heard this a lot of times, that being an entrepreneur is a tough journey. You have to gain trust of the clients if it's a product based, like it's a platform, consulting platform. So tell
Mhm.
us about your journey, where let's say on a random Tuesday afternoon, where everything
Mhm.
is breaking and you were so exhausted that you just and you questioned that if Roboman would survive or not, and then what would happen next. Any
Mm,
Has this happened with you?
well, there are a lot to. Can you just give me 1 second? There's someone on the door. Just give me 1 second, yeah?
Sure, sure.
Just give me 1 second. Um, I would say there isn't just one tough moment. There have been multiple. I would say entrepreneurship in itself is a tough task to do. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not something that everyone. I'll come to that later. But every single day, something is breaking in entrepreneurship. People do think that and being an entrepreneur is completely having your freedom and you're your own boss, but actually when you are running a company, and you might have heard this from very famous entrepreneurs as well, that when
Yeah.
you are leading a company, the problems that exist, and you have people to do that, when they're not able to do that, the most distilled of problems come to you for solving.
Yeah.
So running a company is basically solving problems, I would say. um, it's easy to be a part of something when something is running for you and things like that, but company in itself, because there are so many challenges. You have to build a product, you have to scale the product, you have to take it to the market, you have to take the feedback, you have to do further developments.
Mm.
There are obstacles on every path of
Right.
this. You have to manage your budgets. You can't just spend it like that, because it's always, most of the time, it's your savings that you're investing in the company.
Right.
So I would say that, if I have to pick just one phase that was very harsh, I would say it was when I just left my job in the UK, that I was telling you in the start of the podcast,
Yeah.
that
Yeah. Yeah.
I left my job and I started this company.
Mhm.
I was very, motivated that, okay, I'm not gonna do something of my own. I'm done with this corporate life. But the thing was that the rules in the UK are that
Mhm.
in 60 days, like if you leave your job, I was on a work visa, so in 60 days you have to leave the country.
Yeah. Right.
So I had 60 days to sort my entrepreneur visa out,
Mhm.
or I had to leave the country. I had to leave the UK.
Mhm.
So I had resigned with a lot of enthusiasm that, okay, I'm gonna not work for you, go away and all.
Yeah.
But when the reality hit, I was like, okay, have I made the right decision?
Mhm.
And I still remember, I think I couldn't sleep for some 1 or 2 weeks when I had left my job, because there was no safety net.
Yeah.
I
Right.
realized that although it was a quick decision to resign from the job and everything, but I was still relevantly new to the country, so I didn't understand the market. I didn't have a network. I didn't have any local connections. I didn't have any safety net. And I was building in an environment where I didn't fully understand the rules yet.
Yeah, exactly. I was coming, like, I was about to say the same. It's not even your own country, so you know the rules very well. You can create a network so easily. You can approach to people, right?
Exactly, exactly.
It's
I
not.
didn't even have my driving license or anything until then. So it was all a temporary status
Oh,
that I.
fine.
And but the thing was that when your purpose is way beyond anything, when you have a very strong purpose in mind that this is something I need to do for myself, when you're doing it for yourself, I think that is when it gives you a lot of strength to stick by your most irrational decisions, I would say. Because definitely that was an irrational decision I took. I don't recommend that to anyone who is watching this
You didn't
podcast.
have anything in backup, and you were in a different country where you had the chances that you would be sent back to India, right? There
Yeah,
was
in 60
safe.
days, when as soon as I resigned from my job, so my work visa conditions had come to an end, and by rules, I had to leave the country in 60 days if I don't find another route to stay. My another route to stay was entrepreneur route,
Hmm.
but it also takes processing takes time and things like that.
Yeah.
So anything could have happened anytime. And maybe I wouldn't have been accepted for the entrepreneur route as well. That was also one possibility.
Correct.
And it was a good paying job. I mean, it
Mm,
wasn't a job that I was not like happy with financial way, but it was a good paying job. So it was one of the most, it was one of those times where I really doubted myself that I think I made a very wrong decision and anything could happen.
yeah.
But I think when I sorted this out,
Mm,
there, so luckily, in within 1 month or 1.5 months, that thing was. I think 15 days before I was about to, before I was supposed to leave the country, I got the notification from the Home Office that my entrepreneur route is accepted.
okay.
But you can imagine those 1.5 months when,
Must be tough.
exactly, that was very tough.
Yeah.
And even when I got my entrepreneur route, things take time to build. Things take a lot of time to build.
Yeah.
So I had to reach out to people. I had to reach out to some people for consulting projects because I had to get the revenue started in the company. I didn't have much time to, build a product, spend more, put
Mm,
the company. So I thought that, okay, I'll just go for some consulting contracts like that. And there was small consulting contract that kept me running for a year. And that was more about survival, I would say.
okay.
But the thing is that I would say that starting phase is the most difficult phase. Starting step, the first step, is the most difficult phase where you think the most for quitting.
Yeah.
Where you think most that where you self doubt the most.
Mm,
So once you're past that stage
mhm,
and you are consistent enough, I'm sure you find your way.
mm,
So that is what one way of looking at it was that yeah, starting phase was the most difficult one so far in my journey.
yeah. So the ones who pass that, they retain, I think, in that, and the ones who quit in those in that starting 1 year, I think then, because that's the time you need to have a lot of patience. You need to go through a lot of breaking, and but you have to still survive, right?
Exactly. And the thing is that also I was coming to this part that most of the companies they have co-founders and they basically are a group of people
Yeah.
that start.
Yeah.
I was a solo founder then.
Mm,
So being solo founder is extremely hard. Even still it is hard.
yeah.
So you can imagine the compounding factor solo founder, immigrant, no understanding, no English not as first language,
A lot.
not
Yes.
Harvard or Stanford. I mean, I studied at Monash and I am Lucknow, but still the levels that Harvard and Stanford produce, these unis still need to catch up to that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was quite difficult time for me. But yeah, I mean, I'm still here, so
Yeah.
things worked out well so far, I would say.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah.
So when you applied for the entrepreneurship route, there was some application you had to submit.
Yeah, I had to submit it. There's a lot of paperwork for every visa application. You do a lot of paperwork, like unimaginable amount of paperwork you have to do because you have to prove everything that okay, this is what it is, this is what
Uh,
my certifications are, this is what I'm planning to do. So it
oh,
was a hell lot of paperwork, I would say.
and
And
uh,
still you can be rejected. I mean, they can reject you if
like
they find it
equal
appealing.
chances, I think. And also, since you were an immigrant, so that would have also affected your application, right?
Because for them, that this was one of the concerns that was raised that
Hmm.
you came here for a job. Like Home Office could have. I mean, they didn't ask me this question, but mostly my solicitors had warned me that I came here for a job. Okay, how can you go from being an employee on a worker visa to becoming an entrepreneur, and that too in a matter of 1 year?
Oh,
So we were braced up for that question. Luckily, it didn't come through our way. But yeah, these are big possibilities that come when you are doing something like this.
absolutely. Agree.
Yeah. So yeah, of course. I mean, I'll never ask anyone to do this that I would never ever. I mean, this is something. If anyone is watching this,
Yeah.
don't do this ever in your life because everyone has different responsibilities. They have families. They have to put food on their table.
Yeah.
This is something that I did. I was 26 at that time, so I was pretty
So,
young at that time.
uh,
But never do it. I mean, just never do it.
so
Yeah.
what would be an alternate to have a backup job and then start this?
I would say if you are planning to start so first of all, you need to understand why you are starting in that particular new country. Okay, I started in the UK because UK has far more scope of AI automation than India right now. Okay, yeah, at that time you might be understanding the condition of the economy here, the inflation and everything that was leading more people to like it was leading a mass layoff of people.
You're talking
Company.
about which year?
So basically, when it comes to understanding the geography
Hmm.
where you are trying to start and all, you have to understand why are you trying to do so.
Hmm.
I started in the UK because the automation, the scope for automation is very high here. You know, the workers, the supply for workers is very low in the market. And of course, it's a big economy. So when it comes to inflation around the year 2020 to 2023,
Hmm.
companies were not able to afford a lot of workers in the company.
Right.
And that is where leads to the gap that brings automation in.
Okay.
So that is why my reason for starting in the UK was quick returns
Hmm.
on the products. It's also one of the very strong knowledge economies. I hope you understand what knowledge economy is. So
Hmm.
knowledge economy is basically something where which drive the where the economy is driven by the knowledge, the products created out of knowledge or the solutions created out of knowledge. US is the biggest example of the knowledge economy. Okay, but UK is also a big knowledge economy.
Hmm.
So that is where I thought that the products that I'll build in the future, UK is the place where I could test them out
Hmm.
and where I'll have a quick market. And that is what exactly happened when I put my products out in the market. I got traction really quickly because of it. Because these products were high in, I mean, the solution that these products were providing were high in demand everywhere. So that is why all the traction that we got was out of that strong demand for our particular product, for those particular products. So that is why I would say that when it comes to starting in a new country,
Hmm.
it's generally quite hard. But the thing is that if you have a proper plan and everything, if you have studied the economy properly, let's say like I believe that India right now is coming up very quickly. India right now is coming up very quickly. But to reach the level of adoption that UK or US has, it will take time. That
Okay.
is what I keep explaining to all the people who ask me that why. I mean, although we are doing it in India, but still there is a bit of a lag in adoption. Okay, so you countries like UK and US are very fast at adoption. India is catching up to it. Okay, then the reason
But
is
still
very
not
simple.
there.
Yeah,
Hmm.
sorry, go ahead, Mansi.
No, I'm saying, but still not reached there. So India has still not reached there, right?
Yeah, I mean, India, I would say in a matter of, mm, I'll tell you a very simple example. India is right now the largest populated country in the world right now. Okay. Um, the thing is that let's say now the sales outreach platform that we have created, the AI based sales outreach platform. We generally what it does is that it does the sales outreach for the companies to the prospects. It's all AI automated. You know, you just have to put about your service that you are selling and which type of people you are trying to sell, and it finds the people. It reaches out to them via LinkedIn's, emails, and all. The same thing can be done in India by hundreds of people. Okay, generally what I've worked in. I mean, I've come from India and I've worked in India as well. I've seen people relying more on humans than on machines right now at this stage. Maybe in the future they feel like okay, AI based solutions can be more reliable, but right now humans are more reliable in India. I mean, as per the Indian mindset. So that is why when this thing changes, like here in the UK, because you don't have much options, to be honest, you can't just hire someone and make him do things for you. You know, it's not as easy as it's in India. They have to resort to such alternative solutions. Okay, and I personally feel people are more experimenting in Western countries. They just want to experiment with a lot more things. And of course, the scope of problems is different here compared to what's in India. But still, I would say when India reaches that stage, I think it's going to be all the entrepreneurs in the world, AI based, they will shift their total focus to India because the level of volume that India has
Yeah.
is just way beyond limits, actually.
Yeah.
But it will take time. It's not going to happen right away. It will still take some time for that to happen.
Understood. Because India has a large population or a target audience, I can say, for
Yeah.
whom companies can work for, right?
Exactly, exactly. And I'm telling you, it's going to be a big explosion when that happens. When the adoption goes fast in India, it's going to be a big. Um, the companies right now, the investment that's happening in India is preparing for that future to
Hmm.
happen whenever it happens. We haven't reached there yet, but when it will happen, the returns are going to be massive. That
Hmm.
is what I can tell you. So, yeah, I mean, that will be a very interesting time to see actually when that happens.
True, true. Would be really interesting to see that.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Yeah. So, building hardware like robotics, since you're in robotics, is
Huh?
notoriously harder than building a simple app, right? You would have
Okay.
gone that path wherein you're building a simple app. So, what
Yeah.
is most expensive mistake as cost is a very important aspect, because you're an entrepreneur. You were only, you said that you are spending in a lot of your savings in that. So, what
Yeah.
was one of the most expensive mistakes you have made with a physical prototype that taught you a lesson no textbook could? Right? And what would you suggest to younger entrepreneurs who would be starting on this journey?
I would say, see, development and creating a product would have mistakes, okay, that would be expensive for you, that would be not expensive for you. That is one thing of stepping into entrepreneurship before you start anything. That is one thing for sure. But I would say, for me personally, the most expensive mistake I have made is seeking guidance from wrong people when I started my journey.
Okay. So
Um,
seeking guidance like from.
like seeking guidance from, so what happens is that um like when you are trying to create something of your own, when you are trying to start something, if you go to people who have no idea how to build a product or how to sell that product or how to, develop it or how to scale it, and you start seeking guidance from them, you are bound to make much more expensive mistakes than any development work or any physical prototype could. I did this same mistake during my initial years of entrepreneurship, that I sort of sought guidance which I thought that are senior to me or they could be my mentors from wrong kind of people.
Okay.
And that
Wrong
made me
expertise, or like in
like
advice terms, it was wrong.
like people who just wrong in sense, not morally wrong I'm saying,
Huh.
but people who just don't understand what it is like to be in your shoes, okay,
Oh,
what it is like to be an entrepreneur, because everyone can give you guidance. Oh, this is, you should create this. I think we should, I mean, everyone can just say anything, any xyz
read.
about entrepreneurship, yeah. But the thing, very important thing for anyone who is starting this journey is to seek guidance from the right kind of people when you're starting your journey. And the reason is that right guidance will have some real harsh realities that will make you prepared for the future. Okay. Like, let's say if I, through this podcast, tell any young entrepreneur, be an entrepreneur. It's so fun. It's so amazing. You will have a life of your own. You can enjoy anytime. You won't have to listen to your boss. And I'm doing a disservice to people who are watching this. And any young entrepreneur, let's say, watches this and he says tomorrow that I'm going to start my company and do something. And he ends up wasting all his saving onto building something that is of no use. That is, he wastes his time, he wastes his money, he wastes his efforts. What's the point of then doing all this? So, by biggest mistake was that I listened to people at that time who I thought would know what real entrepreneurship is,
Hmm.
but they had absolute no idea what real entrepreneurship is. They just give you some sort of like like, okay, you should build this product, you should explore this, but they don't understand how, like, building a product is one thing, but what it means to take it to the market, what it means to be received by the people. So most expensive mistake is not the physical prototypes or anything that I've created on the platforms, but it's always been the lack of direction that I've taken from the wrong kind of people. And that easily could be the most expensive mistake that you can make ever in your entrepreneurship journey.
Yeah.
ever. So no development, nothing can hamper you apart from the wrong guidance that can really derail your path
Okay. I think it is
from
one very good advice for the young entrepreneurs because often, like, we don't know which kind of people to reach to, right?
yeah,
When we are
exactly.
starting on this journey.
Exactly.
So it's quite important. So thanks for
Exactly.
the advice. Yeah.
Exactly.
I think
And that is where you have to understand, you have to get a filtration process in your mind that okay, this person is could be, I can seek guidance from this person and this person might not be right. So you should not ask your path from everyone when you are on an entrepreneurship journey because it's quite a lonely journey.
yeah.
It's not a journey which is like filled with a lot of support. You don't have a lot of people around you when you are building something of your own. It's a very lonely journey initially. Later on you have people, of course, when you are putting out, you are producing a value, you have investors and you have your team and who shows confidence in you. But apart from it, it's a very lonely journey, so make sure to be very much on the path when you are starting your entrepreneurship journey. That
Yeah.
is
I think
one thing that
initially,
you need to
yeah, a
ensure.
lot of people are against you initially, and because
Yeah,
you gain trust of a lot of people, once you have
exactly.
X number of clients, then you can show people and you can gain their trust after that. But before that,
Exactly. Exactly.
difficult, of course. Um, okay, so Priyesh, every second person, if you'll see,
Mhm.
they are an AI founder right now. So how
Yeah,
do you
of
distinguish
course.
between a tech experiment that looks extremely good on Twitter and a real business that solves a painful problem? Because I
Yeah,
think most of the things companies are doing, they'll just sugarcoat what they've achieved, their success
yeah,
metrics. They'll
yeah.
put it somewhere to gain attention, but in reality, it's something different. So,
Exactly. Yeah. Very. I think this is a very good question that you have asked, Mansi. And that again, like as I was telling you in question four, that anyone can be an entrepreneur. But the apart from the right guidance, you should have. When you ask the difference between just a hype, like okay, I have an AI company, I have an AI product, an actual business. Okay, like okay, this is an actual AI product that does something. Um, it's very simple. Like it's not a rocket science, but very simple way to understand. Mansi.
okay.
I'll tell you one example from our company.
Hmm.
Um, we have this procurement automation solution that we have developed, and I just explained you briefly that it is like you automate the complete procurement process from start to the end. Okay,
Yeah.
you have to put which products you are trying to procure for which location, and it automatically fetches vendors and reaches out to existing vendors,
You
collects the
know,
quotation from them, uh, compare the pricing and put out the best possible quotation for you for from which vendor what item to procure. It also automatically negotiates with vendors to
oh,
reduce their pricing. And then when only when the approval is there, the person has to sign for approve it and the work order is issued.
hmm.
Now this whole process is automated by this one SaaS solution. And very much yesterday, it was 1st April, new financial year. There's this one um, company in India, and they have a procurement budget of 10 million pounds. 10 million pounds is 100 crores INR in Indian terms.
Hmm.
They have implemented it fully fledgedly from 1st of April. Like this solution is going to be their go-to like is going to be their main procurement solution
Oh,
from now onwards for until next end of the next financial year.
oh,
So they are now completely relying on this solution to let people who are just calling these vendors and please get me the quotation and the XYZ problems coming in. Now they're completely relying on this platform to
hmm.
do everything for them. Okay. I wish I could have showed you the solution, but we'll keep this only for the podcast.
Yeah.
Now let's say, Mansi,
Hmm.
these problems that I've told you,
Hmm.
you are calling the vendors, you are fetching the quotations, you are comparing them,
Hmm.
you are negotiating with them, you are approving, getting the approvals.
Hmm.
This is all the processes. It's a very nutshell process. You know how complicated in reality it can be. It was initially taking a lot of it was initially taking, like, let's say 10 people to do this process. Okay, and it was still not happening within a within like a time frame that's reasonable. It was with a lot of delays.
Hmm.
Now this solution saves this company up to at least up to. I would say at least up to 10% in procurement budget. 10% of 10 million, you can imagine. It saves them that much money.
Mm.
Let's say if we remove the solution, Mansi,
Ah,
what do you think will happen to the company?
I think first of all, they'll have to do everything manually, which is a very
Yeah.
tedious task.
Yes.
And they'll require a lot of human resource for that, and a lot of time would go in.
Yes. Yes.
And
Exactly.
also, they are losing that 10% I think you mentioned about.
Exactly. Exactly. So this for you, would this be just a hype of an AI product, or would this be an actual solution that's solving the real
No,
problems?
no, this absolutely seems like an actual solution.
There you go. This is the one simple way of differentiating between hype and
Ah,
a real product.
yeah.
Hype is something that if it doesn't exist, doesn't create a difference in your life.
Hmm.
Okay. Hype, I don't want to name any product here because I know it's not, I think it's not morally right to just, criticize any product openly.
Absolutely.
But the product that doesn't make any difference if it like ceases to exist is the product that is more of a hype. Whereas a product that actually brings a difference in people's in an organization process or anything, that is a real actual AI based product.
Hmm.
So anytime you have to differentiate, just imagine this scenario where it exists, it doesn't exist. If it doesn't exist and doesn't create a difference in your life, that's just a hype. If it exists and creates a difference in your life, that's the actual AI product. And that's why my philosophy for this company has always been to create a difference rather than to just develop some LLM, like these something similar to OpenAI
Hmm.
that people use when they are bored. I mean, OpenAI is something definitely people are using for a lot of tasks, but if I create a copy of it,
Hmm.
it's a hype, to be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah,
So that is how all the AI entrepreneurs should be able to differentiate between what actuality is and what actuality is and what just illusion is.
yeah.
So that is one way of looking at it, in my opinion.
Yeah. So I think because of that, there'll be a lot of people who would be able to think it from a different perspective and
Hmm.
knowing how with AI solutions the life is and without AI solutions, and then we can judge which is a hype
Yeah.
and which is a real
Yes.
product which is helping us
Yeah.
solve the
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
So now let's quickly do a quick test. So as a founder, being a
Mhm.
founder, I'll be giving you three tasks, and you have to tell me which one would you delegate it to a robot, which one would you keep it human specific, human oriented.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So, task A is apologizing to your first 100 customers after a massive system failure. Task B would be deciding whether department needs a budget cut. And task C would be drafting the culture manifesto for your next 50 hires.
Okay. So I would say, like, is it strictly, does it have to be, I have to choose one, or can I like, can I bifurcate it between both also? Like, how do I have to answer this one?
So like you want to keep it hybrid, like first
I
some
want to keep it hybrid. Yeah, I want to keep it
okay,
hybrid because
do that.
I would say apologizing to customers. So because I've done this personally, so this has to be human.
Okay.
You can't expect an AI to reach out to them and do your voice clone and
Yeah.
say, like, speak in a machinic voice. So I'm sorry for your. Okay, it's something very very bad for, like, when you're starting abroad and you have to apologize to your
Yeah.
first 100 customers. So I would say this has to be human because then you get the feedback in. Of course, AI can help you understand, structure the message, ensure there is clarity in what you are saying. But this one has to be definitely human. First 100 customers. Second one would be, I can say with AI, budget cuts. I can say that because we have done this for procurement. Um, AI can actually help do it faster. The budget cuts and all. It can help execute it faster because it understands the pain points and all, and it can do the complex mathematical equations that it can. But the idea of budget cut, that how much budget are you planning to cut, should be driven by a human. So let's say for 10 million, if I have to save 10% of my money, out of it. It's my thought process. I can use AI to understand what I can actually do, but at the end of the day, the decision relies upon the human to execute it. Okay, so I would say it's a mix of a hybrid where both humans and you can say AI has to participate in it. And what was your third one?
The third one was drafting the culture manifesto for your next 50 hires.
I think that one would definitely be a human
Okay.
because one thing that AI is missing right now,
Mhm.
although we are trying to work on it very, very diligently, is capturing the latent points of something.
Yeah.
It very well understands what is there, but it doesn't understand what is not there. And it
Yeah.
still is there. So, culture is something which is a very intangible object. Okay. Culture is a very intangible thing. So, culture defines like how people are behaving when no one is watching and what the company stands for under pressure. Okay. So, and this could be very subjective depending upon the different, different types of environment, different types of companies, different types of founders or managers. So this one has to be a human for sure.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, because this is a latent one, so this has to be a human, I would say.
Okay. So I
Yeah.
think there's everywhere human in the loop, even though we can get some part of a task being done by robots or AI, but still there
Exactly.
has to be human in the loop.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'll come to that myth later where they say AI can replace humans. So I think I'll address that one in somewhere later or by the end of this podcast. But yeah, I mean, you can never get rid of humans, even with AI.
Mhm.
That's something that people is it's an imaginary scenario where they think, okay, people are get rid of it. I mean, even though our products, we have this AI based B2B SaaS based solution, we still have humans at the end of the process to at least put the product in and get it. So this can never happen that AI can complete. Maybe after, like, really when we won't be on earth, then we can see some glimpses of it, but right now, no, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah. All right. So startups are an emotional roller coaster, right? What is one
Absolutely.
work habit, any hobby, or any mantra, or any routine that keeps your brain away from crashing when the pressure is at its peak? And
I
I
would
think
say,
it must have happened to you a lot of times.
oh yeah, of course. I mean, so one very important thing of being a founder is that you have to keep yourself in a very good mental health. I would say, even I mean physical health. Of course, I'm into boxing part time and I do boxing.
Oh,
But the thing with founders is, I understood its importance back when pandemic started, is that you need to really take good care of your mental health. Really, because founders is more of a mind game rather than. I mean, of course, if you are physically fit, you can get more tasks done. But it mostly comes from here. This is very important when it comes to being a founder.
mm,
So anything that keeps you in a good mental health, let's say even meditation,
mm,
manifestation, as is. I'm reading this book on manifestation
okay.
whenever I get time at night.
Mm,
I would say if you love traveling to some quiet and nice places, you can travel. Like I'm traveling to Iceland on 8th of April. So it's just for 2 days, but I need to really take break from this financial year that
Traveling
just
is
went.
a very good thing which can really, freshen up your mind and
Exactly, exactly. So I love traveling personally. This is one good thing of living in London is that you can just travel anywhere nice close
yeah,
by.
close by, yeah.
Yeah, so and this is a nice time in April. So I'm sure that Iceland is going to be a good trip. That's coming very soon. So definitely that anything that keeps you. I mean, there is one very dark side to it that a lot of entrepreneurs they get into,
Mm,
bad habits. They get into like substances that isn't good for them.
mm, mm,
Although people have somewhere justified the usage of such substances among entrepreneurs, but it's very detrimental in the long run for them.
mm,
Okay,
mm.
a lot of mental issues, a lot of suicidal issues come up with those substances. So
Yeah.
I very well understand the pressure of being an entrepreneur. Everything is on your shoulders, but that doesn't mean that one needs to destroy. So anything that improves you,
Uh,
improves your physical health, improves your mental health,
mm,
at not at the expense of your health,
mm,
is something worth doing on the
yeah.
sides. Yeah,
Yeah. Anything which helps you, I think, refreshen up and not in negative way.
absolutely, absolutely, yeah, without a doubt. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. So I think we have, and also one more thing. So what is your team size now? How many
yeah.
members?
Right now, we are 30 members in total
Oh,
team.
good
We are
size.
still, I would say, we are still a lean team. We aren't a big team,
Uh,
but yeah, 30
but
members
yeah,
is something. I started with because I started as just one single person running a company, so 30 seems
it's a
like
good,
a good number
good
that we have
number.
reached
Yeah.
in 2 years.
You're
So
still
yeah,
a solo founder. You don't have any co-founder, right? You're a solo founder.
I'm a solo founder. Yes, yes. As I was telling you, I'm a solo founder.
Great, great, Priyesh. That's really good. This is how far you've come with that decision. Although it was, you were little, not little, very hesitant about that, but this is how far
Yeah,
you've come and you have a lot of growth to achieve. Great.
hopefully, yeah, hopefully more to come in the future. Yeah.
Absolutely. So we'll be having a very small rapid fire round now. So we'll be
Okay.
asking a question which you have to answer like
Okay.
instantly, immediately.
Oh, instantly.
Late.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. All
Okay,
right.
I'll brace myself up for instantly questions. Instant questions now.
Okay. So one word that describes entrepreneurship,
Hard work.
hard work.
Yeah.
The biggest myth about AI that needs to die.
That AI will replace humans, and like people who are seeking a partner will have to seek a humanoid in the future. That's not gonna happen
That's not,
anytime soon.
okay. So,
Basically.
so
That's
we
not gonna
shouldn't be
happen. Yeah.
scared
Yeah.
now. Our jobs are safe. We shouldn't
Sorry.
be scared. We shouldn't be scared of taking AI taking our jobs. We are all safe.
You shouldn't be scared, and I mean this is a very harsh truth, but like the time when people start seeking humanoids as their partners, or for most of the tasks, we won't be the here on earth, so that's not gonna happen for sure. Not worry about it.
Okay. If you weren't building robots, what would you be doing today?
I think I would be that's a very good one actually. I would be in my job, I think. I don't think I'll be somewhere else, or Um, yeah, I think I would be still doing my that job where I was in a constant struggle with my managers. So I don't think I'll be leaving my job. So yeah, I'll be doing the job only. Yeah.
Bootstrap forever or VC money for speed?
Bootstrap in the beginning, VC later.
Okay.
Bootstrap in the beginning because bootstrapping really ensures that your product is a strong fit. Okay. Bootstrapping also means that you learn to manage your money properly, that you learn to make better investment decisions. So when the VC money comes in, you are far more responsible and you have matured as an entrepreneur rather than, just spending money on anything and getting no returns out of it. So bootstrap is very essential in the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah.
One tool besides your own that you cannot live without.
I think I can't live without ChatGPT.
Okay.
I don't think so because even the API, we have a lot of OpenAI APIs that we use for some of the operation. I think OpenAI has become part of my life. So yeah, I can't live without OpenAI.
That's what I was saying. It has come down to the level where mothers are also using it actively for their child.
Yeah, and even I was reading this somewhere that people are using it for, instead of going to a psychologist or a psychotherapist, they are going to ChatGPT for their mental health assistance. So
Anything and everything, I'm telling you, I've seen a lot of examples like people using it for astrology. This happened, I got laid off. Now, when will my job be? Where is my son? Where's the Saturn and whatnot? So,
that is a different astrology app, I think, no?
huh. But
Yeah.
they're absolutely, I've seen kids, my nephews, nieces, they've been using Gemini for asking any kind of random question, whatever they want. They're just 5, 6 years old. That's it, not more than that.
No, even I'll tell you, I have my some family members in India. They even can't live without that Indian app you have for astrology, AstroTalk, I think.
I,
They can't live without it. I mean, I'm like, what the hell are you doing on it? And they tell me that I mean, I think I saw that app once that they have different number of astrologers with,
Yes, yes. So you get a
and
pop-up recharge there, and to get you attracted, they'll give you some free money. Then you have that pop-up, and then you can chat with that. the
Uh-huh.
chat might end for like whatever minutes you've charged it for, then you have to charge again and something like that. But
Okay, okay. No, I mean, I know like astrology. Definitely, I do believe in astrology, but I don't know how important it is to rely on astrology solely for your life's decision. But people are becoming dependent on that app. I mean, I know people who just talk
they,
on that platform every single day.
who can't survive without reading their horoscope for a single day.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So that's another thing that's coming up in India, actually.
Right. Okay, Priyesh. So with this, we have come to an end of the rapid fire round also. But I have
Uh-huh.
three more questions for you out of these both two sections. So first would be the time machine questions. So if you could send a 10-second voice note to the Priyesh who was just starting his first day of work years ago, what would you say to him?
Uh, Great things are about to come your way. Just keep going the way you are going, and be punctual, because I've been very, very impunctual a lot of times in my life. So I would ask my younger self to be a bit more punctual. I think I could have done a lot better if I was punctual all my life, but I was very, very bad with timekeeping. So I would ask my younger self to be a bit more disciplined on that part.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Great to hear that. That's it. And finally, so what is your one piece of advice for the audience that is too controversial or that most people are afraid to say it out loud, but even every founder knows it's true. So that's what I was asking you earlier also. So there are a lot of founders who will just sugarcoat things, put it on LinkedIn, Twitter to
Exactly.
post what their success looks like, but they're not telling what the challenges behind that have been.
The harsh truth is, and people might hate me for that, that entrepreneurship is not for everyone.
Okay.
It's not for everyone.
Thanks for
Because
putting it out because everybody thinks that okay, I can start it. There's nothing what will happen. I'll just invest some money. I'll try it for some time. Yeah.
I have a friend in JP Morgan. He's working at JP Morgan right now in London. He every day asks me that, Priyesh, I want to start something of my own and this like that. I'm like, don't do it.
Okay.
I'm like, don't do it. Because the thing is that imagine, like Mansi, imagine that you start a company, okay? For at least I'm saying this is like the minimum of minimum. You are living in a constant uncertainty while you are building something. All the money that you have saved, you are putting on something, okay? You are building it. Still you are living in an uncertainty whether you are going to whether that is going to work out or not, because market is very harsh. Market is not a very not a like a place of where you have roses everywhere. It's a very harsh and a competitive market. In 2022 2023, there was something known as an AI earthquake that led to a lot of tech companies
Mm,
just they were whitewashed
mm,
within nights. Those companies took years to build something very significant. And as soon as OpenAI or AI based solutions came into existence, they were just whitewashed away.
mm,
So you can imagine that you are building something for days, you are putting your nights out, you're putting your money, and there's nothing coming in return. You're constantly struggling whether it's gonna work, it's not gonna work. High chances it might not work. 90% of the startups don't succeed. That's a very harsh truth about. That's what I was saying in the beginning, that never seek guidance from wrong type of people. My uh my objective here is to not discourage, but to prepare people to be very, very strong for if they're starting their entrepreneurship journey. One has to be very mentally strong when he's starting his entrepreneurship journey.
mm,
Um, it's like every day would be, you will have to deal with something. You will feel a sense of achievement. That thing comes with it. But you will constantly have to be, consistent with what you are doing. There are no breaks, there are no excuses. If company does something good, it's a strategy. If company does something bad, it's on you. So, my objective to any kid, anyone watching this podcast, is be very mentally strong when you are starting this journey.
mm,
This will come with a lot of ups and downs, mostly downs in the beginning, and then there might be small occasional ups in the future. But you will have to prepare yourself for some time that these things might not work in the way I, because I'm telling you, people enter entrepreneurship thinking about the most favorable outcomes of it, that you have big, people think that, okay, if I'm an entrepreneur and things work out, I'll have a big home, I'll have this much money, I'll have, people just think about it and they enter, and when they see the reality they feel like, oh, what have I done with my life?
Mm.
And I can't do a disservice to anyone who just comes to me and says that I want to start something of my own. Please, I want to resign from my job. I say, don't do it. Unless you have a very strong conviction that you will be able to succeed, unless you have a very strong business plan, never ever enter into it. So that is one very bad harsh truth I'll have to. I mean, I know I'm sounding a bit intense right now, but because I've experienced this journey right now with myself, I have to tell this to anyone who is starting this. So one has to be really, really, really prepared for what is to come in an entrepreneurship journey.
Thanks for putting it out very like clearly and not sugarcoating it, because I
Yeah.
think most of the young entrepreneurs is this is the advice they're seeking, because we
Yeah.
have 100 thoughts, but we do not know which one would actually lead to something good, right? Which is the right one, which is the wrong one. So it's important for from especially coming from people like you, you've experienced first-handedly.
Yeah.
So the yeah, obviously you are the ones who can tell the truth, right? So again, the
Exactly.
guidance coming from the right person.
Exactly. Absolutely. Yeah.
Putting this out very clearly. All right. So thanks a lot, Priyesh, for sparing out the time to join Founders Gyan and giving in a lot of insights which were true, not sugarcoated,
Yes.
although harsh, but again true, which is the real guidance young entrepreneurs really seek when they are looking forward to people like you who have started their journeys. So thanks a lot, and your insights were really valuable. Thank you
I
so much.
really enjoyed this podcast, Mansi. Thank you so much, and wish you luck with your podcast and channel, and hope it grows to the level you want. Yeah,
Yeah, and wish you luck for Roboman as well. I hope it great heights of achievement.
absolutely. Thank you so much, Mansi. Yeah,
Thank you.
take
Bye.
care. Bye bye.